hate me for this.
Hope you're all having a good day. Old School Gamer 1971 back with a review. Shout out to Millie and Lloyd. If this is helpful in any way, please like, subscribe or comment, or do all three. Today I'm reviewing South Park: The Fractured But Whole. Let me start by saying, if you are not a fan of the TV series or the first game, then the RPG game engine is nowhere near enough. But, however, if you are a fan but you're not a fan of RPGs, this game has more than enough to keep you happy for a good amount of time. Also, you get Stick of Truth. So 2 games for the price of 1. I will say that the first is a stronger story, and I'd say that the second is possibly more funny, but I prefer the combat on the first. It reminds me a lot of being a child, and what I mean by that is fads. Now, to me, what was in one week was out the next, and that is how they use the excuse for being reset to level 1. You do play the same child and you can keep the look from the first game, but if you want to, you can change your look entirely. But in this game, this time the creator is more in depth. You can be a girl this time, which they handle in the normal South Park way, which basically means that, you know, like South Park, you're a girl and your mum and dad didn't notice the fact you was a girl throughout the whole of your life. So I was wanting more by the end, and fortunately the game comes with DLC. Now, I say fortunately, but there is a couple of downfalls about the DLC. The first one, as an example, I felt was a bit of a waste. Now, it was called Danger Deck, and it was supposed to have been like VR within the game, not in the real world, fighting harder and harder battles, but you didn't get a lot of that humour. And to me, if you haven't got humour in South Park, then what have you really got? Now, the second, on the other hand, was From Dusk Till Casa Bonita, a much better one, story driven with all the humour involving the goth kids and, funnily enough, the Lost Boys. Now, the third one, Bring the Crunch, was released this week. The best DLC by far. It's basically a slasher movie parody, and to me, that was just waiting. That was just waiting to happen in a big way. Really, I'm surprised no other companies have come along and done a similar sort of thing. It's even got the old guy from Pet Sematary in. But whilst I enjoyed it, and it done everything that you want it to do, and it had many little mini games, it was quite enjoyable, there was no trophies for the DLC. Overall, the game was a good play, with many hours of fun to be had though. Pluses: 2 games for the price of 1. Both with unique stories that sort of intermingle, which I know doesn't make no sense, but they are both. You could play the second one without the first and vice versa. If you love South Park, then you will love this game. There is lots of nods to the series, and that to me is a good thing. The negatives then, there is only really a couple, really. No DLC trophies. To me, it's an achievement, and it makes you play all of the DLC, not just a little bit. And I had to go back and do a little bit of the second DLC because at the time I felt like, well, what's my reason for doing it? The first combat is better than the seconds. Some scenes should never be played in front of anybody you know, and certainly not your parents. And that goes for whatever age. There's just some scenes that are so wrong, and maybe it might be a little bit over the top for some people. However, not me. I could have made it worse for me. But anyway, thanks for listening, one and all. Please tell me what you think. Bye Millie, bye Lloyd. Old School Gamer, out.